Hello and welcome to this life transforming masterclass. My name is Fidelis. First of all, let me say congratulations. I'm so very proud of you for having taken that first step towards bettering your understanding and knowing who you truly are. I can already feel that this is the beginning of something very beautiful for you. I understand that during these challenging financial times, it is very hard to have disposable income. And so I truly appreciate you having chosen to spend your hard-earned money on this course. The prosperity of our nation is dependent upon the prosperity of each individual, and each individual's prosperity is dependent upon that individual's success. The level of success is dependent upon one's actions and one's abilities. Your actions and abilities are dependent upon your thought, and your thoughts are dependent upon understanding what you understand as real, not real, viable, not viable. It is my hope that by the end of this 4-week course, you will have a better understanding of just how limitless you truly are, and realize that the only limitations you have are the limitations that you impose upon yourself. You see, belief is everything. A story is told of this young boy who was walking by the beach, picking up starfish that had been washed ashore and tossing them back into the ocean so they can continue to live their life. And there was an old man observing this boy from a distance, and this old man approached this boy and said, if you plan on picking up all the starfish and putting them back into the ocean, it's going to take you a long time, because as soon as you're done putting them back, the waves come back and wash them ashore. And the young boy said, yes, I understand that. I might not make a difference for every starfish, but I'll make a difference for this. And he picked one starfish and threw it back into the ocean. Then picked another and threw it back into the ocean. This young boy believed that he was making a difference, one starfish at a time. And so for me, my version of making a difference is recording this, one video at a time. And I hope that it plays a role in transforming your life for the better. And welcome to my inner circle. In this course, I want to cut through the clutter and deliver the things you need to get to where you need to be. If you are like me, you've probably spent a significant amount of time in your life caring about what other people think. And there comes a time in life when you realize that caring so much about what people think about you is actually making yourself their prisoner. It's like being in a prison with the door wide open. But because you're afraid of what someone else might think if you walked out through that door, you stay in prison. Well, in prison, there's a lot of things like depression, but you're afraid to step out because what will my neighbor say? What will my mother say? What will my sister think? Well, you have to take custody of your life. You have to take custody of your dreams. It's about time you started living your best life. And that is not in prison. It's high time you started living your best life as a free man and woman, not as a prisoner. Do not accept to be the prisoner of your own thoughts. But you know, living your best life has a lot of challenges. Think about it. For me to travel around, it requires money. For me to eat good food, it requires money. For me to wear good clothes, it requires money. For me to invest in self-development, it requires money. So in short, for you to spend time doing that which you really love, you know, living your best life, then that means that you need to figure out a way to make money without having to exchange your time for it. Passive income. Because think about this. You either have money, but because you're working all the time, you don't have the time to enjoy that money. Or you have the time to enjoy doing anything you would love, but your bank account says no. Or you have money, you have time, but you're a prisoner of your own thoughts. And so you are unable to spend your money or time doing that which you really love. This life transforming masterclass is going to be very empowering for you. So let's start with number one. So I will start with this scenario. One, you have money, you have time, but you're unable to enjoy your life because you've made yourself a prisoner in your own mind. You have a closed mindset. A closed mindset means that you will only accept to see things from one perspective, and you refuse that the same thing can be viewed from a different angle. I can't really blame you for this because this is a byproduct of your ego. Your ego is a meaning-making machine. What this means is, for every situation that you ever encountered that triggered your emotions, your ego gave a meaning to that situation. Sometimes the meaning is good and sometimes the meaning is not good. It can be self-limiting to you. The sad thing is there are no courses out there that teach you how to go back, to review your own life, to look at the meanings that your ego gave you as you were growing up, and then view them from a different perspective, to realize that the meaning you gave was not accurate. Because walking around carrying meanings that are not accurate is equivalent to carrying heavy burdens that don't even concern you. So let me give you an example. Stacy is an adult woman, married, kids, good income, beautiful house, a good job. But Stacy is unable to sit on her couch and watch any shows on TV without feeling like she needs to be attending to something else. So one day I'm having a conversation with Stacy and I asked Stacy, Stacy, what do you like to do on your free time? And Stacy goes, well, actually when I get home, I can sit on the couch. And my husband loves to watch movies. And I said, oh, you guys watch the movies together? Oh, no, I can't. I can't really watch movies. I can't focus on screens long enough. I hate watching movies. And so I said, okay, so what would you be doing when your husband is watching TV? Oh, I'm usually on my phone, laying on the couch, sometimes an hour, 2 hours. And I asked, but is in your phone a screen? Stacy goes, you're right. And so I ask, wait, so what's up with you and movies and TV? What happened? And Stacy laughs and says, you know what, to be honest, I think I was about 16 and we were watching The Bold and the Beautiful. And I got so carried away and I forgot I was cooking. And I burnt the food and my mom was very upset. My mom was yelling at me and the only thing I had done was sit in front of the TV and forgotten that I was cooking. And so I say to Stacy, oh my goodness, I'm glad at least you found that out. Because it's not the TV that you don't like. It's just that you need to learn how to prioritize. There's a time for everything. If it's time for cooking, cook. If it's time for watching TV, watch TV. But if you combine them, there's a consequence. And you got the consequence of combining them. You chose, your ego gave meaning to that situation, saying, avoid the TV and you will avoid trouble. And you've been carrying this baggage with you all along. And so think about it. How many other things happened when you were younger and you're still using them to make decisions in your life as an adult in this time? And this applies to everybody. But that's a different course by itself. But the thing is, we never really go back to change the meaning that we've given to situations in our past. And so the meaning we gave those situations, like 14 years ago, 20 years ago, we are still using that meaning to live our life in 2022. And that is a huge mistake. Instead, we embrace these conclusions as our reality. And it takes someone else to come and be honest with you. And it is not until someone else prompts us to take a closer look at a situation that we realize that we have been carrying unnecessary baggage. And most times this is very self-limiting. That's the saying, you are your own worst enemy. So this baggage has us feeling heavy, crowded, ungrounded. And it is not until we take a closer look and change the meaning to something that makes more sense as an adult that we begin to feel lighter and we can actually fly instead of walking. You are meant to prosper. But for you to prosper, you have to understand your inner workings. You have to understand what you are programmed to so you can unprogram yourself and program yourself to what you actually want in your life. And this means changing a lot of habits. A good place to start would be asking yourself, who would I be if I was free of all these things that hold me back? Because that needs to be your goal. And one thing about setting a goal is that you can see it in your mind. And as long as you can see it in your mind and hold that vision for yourself, you will have to achieve it. There came a time in my life when I had to sit down and ask myself, where would I be if I was free of all these things that are holding me back? And the answer was clear. Fidelis, you love to teach. You're passionate about teaching. And so I started working towards that goal. And so I focused on that goal. I held that vision for myself. I started investing in myself. I started reading more books. I was very hungry for knowledge. And when the time was right, ideas started flowing. And that is why I'm here today, to help you answer that question for yourself. To do this, let's reference the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist who developed a hierarchy of needs to explain human motivation. His theory suggested that people have a number of basic needs that must be met before people can move up the hierarchy. One needs to focus their energy on achieving the goals of one level so as to successfully move to the next level. As you can see, it's a triangle. It's very big at the bottom and very small at the top. And the reason for this is many people are in the bottom and very few people are at the top. And this course is going to help you better understand how you can climb from the bottom to the top successfully. We all start at the bottom and slowly work our way up. It is not until the needs of each level are successfully met that we can successfully rise to the next level. So this will help you understand the question, where am I? As well as answer the question, where do I want to be? This is the reason why when people come across unearned money fast, they lose it just as fast. And there comes a time in one's life when you realize that leaving material wealth for your kids is not as valuable as leaving practical wisdom for them. But leaving physical wealth plus practical wisdom is of most value and will be of most benefit to your children long after you're gone. When people come across and earn money, such as through inheritance, and they do not have the practical wisdom to ensure that that wealth keeps multiplying, one, they either become a miser, they either become a miser and they are afraid of spending that money for fear that they will lose it. Or two, they become an extreme overspender, always searching, always seeking to satisfy desires that cannot be satisfied. And so they become addicted to things such as sex, drugs, food, gambling, or they become a miser. And so it makes it useless having X amount of money in inheritance and you can't even spend it. But if you leave your child with wealth and practical wisdom, then chances are high that your child will seek the advice of a financial expert on how to manage the wealth, how to make it work for them. But we are the children of our parents. Chances are high that this information has never been brought to your attention. Regardless of where you are, right now is the most important time. It's never too late. So back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom, you see we have the physiological needs, which includes things such as air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing. On the next level, you have the safety needs, such as personal security, employment, resources, good health, good finances. On the next level is love and belonging. At this point now, you're seeking friendship, intimacy, family, having a sense of connection. When that is fully satisfied, you feel the respect, looking to gain self-esteem, a status, recognition. And when that is successfully met, you move on to the last level, which is self-actualization. And this is characterized by a desire to become the most that one can be. Pablo Picasso said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give your gift away." I would like to teach you what I did to get from the bottom to the top successfully. You've established where you're at, right? What needs have been met? What needs have not been met? Now you have a physical representation of what you need to be working on first, before you can go on to the next level. So an example, if you are in an abusive relationship, you will be stuck at the love and belonging. Because what would allow you to get onto the next level of esteem is self-esteem. And if someone is constantly abusing you, it does a number on your self-esteem. And so you will not feel valued. So you will not value yourself. And you will therefore be unable to go on to the next level. So that's not working. And so you need to let go of that abusive relationship. Only if you want to advance, and advance quick. If anything, an abusive relationship puts you back a level. And you go back to safety and needs. Your sense of security has been tampered with. And this is what you would call enemies of progress. Let them go. And focus on what it is that you need. Which brings me to point number 2. Fixing what is not working allows you to level up. And level up fast. But nobody else can fix those things that are not working for you but you. So this brings me to point number 3. Find out what is working. If someone is constantly talking down upon you, messing with your self-esteem by belittling you, saying mean things about you. Every time you speak up for yourself when someone is belittling you, there's that surge of self-esteem and self-respect that you feel because you spoke up for yourself. That speaking up may cause the other person not to like you. It may actually cause the other person to hate you. But learn to be okay with not being liked. Because now you understand that allowing anyone to belittle you and not saying anything because your culture or your religion or your government has taught you, let me correct that, has programmed you not to speak up against a pastor, a father, a husband. Now you've realized that not speaking up is actually harming you from the inside out. And this goes back to that meaning-making machine, the ego. Going back and realizing that, no, the church told me that nobody speaks ill of the priest. And the priest raped me. And so, me being quiet about it is eating me from the inside out. And so I need to speak up for myself. No matter the consequence. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is how I feel. And I would be damned if this happens to another child because I did not speak up. And so you speak up, and so you get hated for it. But you've come to be okay with being hated. Because your own personal development is not dependent upon what other people think of you. As a matter of fact, what people think of you is nowhere near who you actually are. People don't really know you. They will never know you. Only you can know yourself. And then start living your life in alignment to yourself and your standards. Which brings me to point number 4. Consciously doing that which is working is essential for your own personal self-development. This is what it means to say, I am on an energetic diet. If what anyone is bringing me is not love, peace, joy, any of the high vibration, high frequency emotions, then I don't want it. I'm sure I can live without it and I'm fine. I do not want it. It means being conscious, being present at all times to identify negative vibrations and people who bring you negative vibrations and learning to speak up for yourself and walking away when you are no longer welcome. And showing people the door when they've overstayed their welcome. This is what is called being true to yourself, being honest with yourself. Which brings me to point number 5. Identify a support system. It could be a friend, a workmate, the boda guy. We all have times where we feel demotivated, crushed, unimportant, undervalued. Disasters happen, and the light in our soul gets dimmed. It is then that we desperately need the light of others, which could be in the form of a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, a hand to hold. So identify your support system. Fortunately for you, I'm here. I have created a Facebook group for like-minded people. I also have a WhatsApp group for like-minded people where you can feel free to ask questions, give a word of encouragement, share an experience, with the main goal of reaching your highest potential. Here, there is no space for hate. There's no space for jealousy. There's no space for politics. We just exist in the here and now. And so if you're interested in joining this, pause this video and send me a text so I can add your number to it. And actually, you can text me at any time during this course if you have any questions that you don't feel confident sharing in the platform. Text me directly. Because I actually want you to get way more in value than your money's worth having subscribed to this course. So earlier on, we looked at the situation where a person that has both money and time, but they are unable to enjoy it due to lack of understanding of their thought processes. Now let's look at the situation where you have money, but you have no time. What this really means is that you are relying on income that is dependent on your time. So an example, if your work is to cut hair, you can only make money while cutting hair. The moment you're home because it rained or because your car broke down, then that means there'll be no money for you that day. And so what this means is the moment you are unable to show up, then that means you get no pay. As I said earlier, we all start somewhere, and that's a good place to start. Because hey, it's one step closer to having a job, to having income, as opposed to not having it. But the thing is, disasters happen, life happens, and sometimes we are unable to show up. And so, God forbid you are unable to show up to your barber shop today, you would not make money today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day. What that equates to is stress. Stress is harmful for your body. Stress will bring disease on your physical body. And so it's okay to be at that place, but you should not be satisfied being at that place. You should have a vision and a clear roadmap, personalized to you, as to how you'll come from being an employee at the barber shop to renting your own space at a barber shop, to owning a barber shop, to teaching about cutting hair. You see, the goal is to have value that you exchange for money. And remember, I'd said earlier that Pablo Picasso said that the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give your gift away. Ultimately, you want to reach to a point where you can teach someone else what you know before you die. And so taking the example of Sam, who works at a barber shop, so Sam should wake up every day and be very grateful that they have a job. Be happy that they have some income. But then create a roadmap to where Sam wants to be in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years. So I'm sure we all know Steve Harvey. He had once given a story about the guy that used to cut his hair. He liked him so much that he would take him along with him for trips when they were going around performing. And so this guy made a lot of money because he was giving haircuts to really rich guys, getting paid really good money. But a time came where Steve Harvey had to cut off all his hair, meaning he did not need the barbering services anymore. So what this barber did was, all the money that he had earned while he was cutting hair, he figured out a way to have this money work for him by investing in barbershops. So not only does he not have to go on trips anymore, he doesn't even have to cut hair anymore. So do you see what I mean? It's all a matter of belief. If you believe you can do it, you will do it. And whether you believe you can or you believe you cannot, either way you are right. Either way you are right. So now to the third scenario, you have all the time, but you don't have any money. We've all been there. We've all been there, and the good thing is it's a wonderful time to kind of reset your life, to figure out what direction your life will take. What are your passions? So apply for a job in the line of work that you enjoy. And if you're not qualified for any of the positions in that line of work, then take any job. With every payment, save 10%. Pay yourself 10%. Save up that 10% until it's enough to take you to school, to learn that which you're very passionate about. Then learn about it. And then jump back and apply for that job. Do that job so well, to the best of your ability, with no complaints. Be ever grateful to have that job. Life has a funny way of just helping you level up as long as you're giving it your best. Do it so well that you become an expert in it, that you become qualified to teach it. And trust me, there's always someone willing to pay for value, willing to pay for your experience. But the fact that you are able to sign up for this course should tell you that money is actually not a problem for you. So you need to stop thinking as though money is a problem for you. Going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all those are needs. And then on top of needs, there is wants. Wants are a luxury version of needs. So you can drink regular water or ask for sparkling water. You can hire a security guy or you can put up security cameras. And the list is endless. But the fact that you are able to afford this course should tell you that you need to start investing in yourself, investing in bettering yourself, because you can never, ever take action that is better than what you think. Your thoughts will always produce your actions. And so you need to invest in your thoughts, better your understanding in every topic out there. Work on bettering your understanding. And you will come to realize how fast you will develop as an individual who is confident and wealthy, while at the same time very peaceful. So back to your notebooks. How much do you make in a month? Write it down. How much would you want to make in a month? Write that down. With the money that you're currently making, my advice would be to divide this into the 50-30-20 ratio. 50% should be dedicated to your needs. So look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All that should be catered for by 50% of your income. Remember, your rent is part of that. This will help you not to live above your means. This will help you to allocate money to things that can multiply for you, as opposed to spending so much money just to please others, that, hey, I live in a 20,000 apartment, yet I'm making 30,000 a month. So then everything else is a struggle, but I have a good home. You don't need to struggle. Wherever you're at, everything is there. Wherever you're at, if you are to be true to yourself at whatever stage you're at, and be truly honest with yourself, there's a few things you need to look at. Out of that 50%, your rent should actually be 15 to 20% of that 50%. So back to the 50-30-20 rule, that 30% should be dedicated to savings, investments, for your retirement income. And that's why it's very important for you to come out of the cycle of, I have to give my time so as to get paid. A time will come when you cannot work. A time will come when you cannot do that which you're doing. Your body catches up with you. And so you need to figure out how to have passive income by investing, however little. There's always a place to invest, however little your amount is. So create a budget. Once you have a budget in mind, it's now in your vision. You can visualize it. That means you can manifest it. You pay the landlord, you pay the grocery lady, you pay at the gas station, but do you pay yourself? So with every income, 10% of the 20% that goes towards investment, retirement, should be for yourself, for your own personal growth. Because remember, the key is to better your understanding so you can take actions with better understanding. Take a look at this 10% and take it as your child. Invest it in yourself so you can have better production of actions that will lead you towards better success, which will bring more to yourself. So then have your child, have a child, and then have great-grandchildren. And so your money will always work for you. See you Wednesday.